hunter and a gatherer, feel like a traveler.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
From another planet. Hey there. It's the jam, my man.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils, heavy metals and other byproducts of the modern era. You could almost taste it.
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight, no explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days. Yeah, exactly.
It's official. He too agrees. This is the antechamber of the afterlife.
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak, or he just likes unusual words, or both.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need? He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Ask for his conclusion.
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
Maybe you should. Cops don't get paid much and the hours are long. Plus, you can get shot. Why not?
The RCM is a self-managing organization that operates on donations. We promote our own leaders. It would be like striking against your own mother. Okay, but do continue. You were asking about the strike?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do. Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grodd and the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6?
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. The bosses, man. Makes sense. It sucks is what it does. Don't be a stranger.
Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. Oh yeah, like a horse, a workhorse. For hard, look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. That's just what it's like, life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the franc. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor? Look, the immigrants are cool. The immigrants play cool music. Everyone likes them, especially the women. Don't hate on the immigrants. They've got nothing to do with you living under a boat. The Gart man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think with... That's right. 100%. Fucking G-man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gossamer state? That is Revachol. You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus 98% of all your money. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth furiously on the tax issue.
Welcome to Revachol.
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. My grandfather came here from a 3,000-year-old racist isolationist culture, while your ancestors came to this island a mere 300 years ago. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it nonetheless. It belongs to me as much as it belongs to you. It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post-war limbo.
What he means is, fixation on the Revacholian nation makes it harder for Revachol to actually attain self-determination.
Come on, man, I just said welcome to Revachol. It's a lorry driver thing.
I know exactly what you meant. You think my kind doesn't belong here, that I should watch myself. But you see, I'm an officer of the RCM. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
Silence. The air between them becomes tense. Your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine.
You two make a cute couple. You know that? Whatever you say, officers.
He smells of heavy motor oils, and his breath of high tar content cigarettes, probably Astra Whites.
Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything that funny. God damn. Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine.
He doesn't live in Martinez.
It's about biological determinism, natural law. Not the most popular topic nowadays, with the coalition in charge and all. You might want to change the topic. That is, bury your head under the sand like common sheep. I'm not just racist. Look, I've read books, huh? The science of racial theory has all been proved, even if some people who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally, we Occidentals should be in charge. Obviously, you can see the merits in that. Open your eyes. Haven't you noticed something different lately? An unfortunate downturn, maybe? Huh? When members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority, they stop competing for resources. The problem? The damn Kips are showing a real good game lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other introduced species.
Cultural victory? What is this then?
It's what the Kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the others too, on the radio. Heard any chansons lately? Heard any motetos or leader? No, it's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. That's why you've got to control the offspring. Don't push your luck, Runt.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays. Their logo is the bloodless rose, pure white.
Just ask me if you need anything from St. Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosafed, Duramine, Magnesium, and Hypnogamma. St. Baptiste, you know. St. Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. The one that sells meds out of St. Baptiste.
She is right. Saint Baptiste, the company, derives its name from Saint Baptiste, the city. It's...
I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. Duramine. I don't really know what Hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. It's recommended to use after lots of partying, studying. No. Sorry. I'm not like... Yeah, there's like an ampule somewhere. I don't know. Let's see. I don't really know what Uh-huh.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
What is what? It's a... If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will... The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, your bottles clunk into the machine and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look...
What's that magazine she's reading?
I don't know. Frit? I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
The story goes that normal Fritta, with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken. So when Fritta Retail Inc.
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in...
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you. She pops her raspberry-flavored bubblegum. Her shoulders tense. She shuffles back, only slightly. The lieutenant frowns at you before turning to the clerk with an apologetic half-smile.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but... I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so... Not really. No. I didn't know him at all. I don't know, really... long. I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay. Uh-huh. Reality? You mean?
She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher.
I don't really know anything. I mean, I'm 15. Yeah, that's why I'm working my arse off in Frit. So I guess, like, that's economic. I don't know. What about it? Our government? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I really need to finish this article. We're in for it? As mankind, or as a nation, or...
What will her essay prompt be?
In a good place. I mean, science is doing great, and this radio computer thing seems to be kinda big. I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right behind you on the wall.
The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still.
When ordinary people take over the government and, demand democracy. Yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. Cool.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the..." As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the king's chest piece. Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his... Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate centuries. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy during the anti-centennial revolution, and stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored he called it the Sol Auron. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry, he was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay. Cocaine. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms. Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by... The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's... Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even... Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought the statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit. People in Martinaise tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders. Those critics might have it wrong though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Philip III, the Squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, not that he ever did in life either. Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word. Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution. But the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement? If we connect every bullet hole in Martinez to the murder, we'll get an overwhelming... I've made a note. Don't hold your breath.
The king stands high above you. The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. No response, wherever this woman is.
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better... Why? I just told you why.
A Stars Ryko, one of the finest Zhimsk-made motor carriages ever. An oldie, but a goldie. Not many people outside of Grad, and Revachol West too, it appears.
A Stash Ryko KK2. That's a classic model. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time.
No, only that the motor carriage is typically baby blue. The colors of Sigismund the Great, an ancient Zhimsk ruler. His banners were famously zephyr and white. The colors of the Stars Ryko.
That's, well, yes, exactly it, more or less. Except it was a crowd of them. Tore him out of the vehicle and ran. They said it was an honor killing, Hussar style. The Zhimsk community protested the trial, flying the colors. 5,000 came to protest.
Correction. 4,395. The fourth largest public protest of a criminal trial in Revachol.
People we are paid to protect. Let's leave it at that. Is that so, officer? I'll take you at your word. 4 years for murder in Reunion. The perps were remorseful. Their sorry knocked 8 years off the sentence.
The prisons in the greater Revachol industrial harbor are already full. Prisoners are expensive to maintain. The longer the sentence, the larger the cost.
I tried to avoid drawing far-gone conclusions like these before actually examining the body. But my initial guess is the two are unrelated. Yes, detective? Okay, I'm not going to honor kill anyone over this. But I've seen it blue and white. It's much better that way.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves itself. Thank you anyway.
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene. I think fugue states are more your forte, officer. Yes? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and... I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Eccentric. But okay, I suppose we could look into it. As a side investigation.
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
It's hardly worth a title. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The door does not budge. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door, old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave... So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so... Yes?
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's paint. dented yellow mailbox greets you. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect...
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable.
I confiscated this for a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity. A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence. That they are. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. Exactly. As I said, they are useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier. Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's Nest or something, if I'm not mistaken.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners. typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. The light pole has been carefully cut. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
It was brought to me to...
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's...
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. Hey, I don't know where it came from, but it's not every day you get to buy and sell something so extraordinary.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing...
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend. About a man, 50 cents. Bargain priced.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks.
I used to be very serious about my Franco-Nigerian night.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously...
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job...
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them...
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big "just make sure it works before you buy it."
Is the Harman Welshie W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got... Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech.
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
The stuff I record myself, silverware shaking.
Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more...
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, the antlers on the hood of the man's cloak, and his piercing blue eyes. Smells like worn cotton, and a little worn cotton with a side of flea mob.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on.
It's the man from Hendal.
Walking away from his burning village, yes. Huh? Oh, I see. That's tough, man. I feel the... In fact, most people don't think that man...
Hendal isn't a real...
Neither is the man a real man, of course. But both the man and Hjelmdal are an ontological necessity.
Wow. What?
I mean, even if the man from Hjelmdal didn't exist before...
Okay.
You sound skeptical. It's not that. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the...
It's for the best, because Hjelmdal isn't... His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual new...
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I sympathize, I do, but this is a for-profit enterprise. It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you? I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about
Who are your customers?
All kinds of people come through here. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe. Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Perolidon, a drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Why on earth? These are prescription. I can't really see without them. Perolidon is just something since the people I was with the emergency relief brigade.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in a bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable
The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after a primitive nuclear reactor, also called a... Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. Needless to say, an emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. So much disappointment. An early death. No one's. Everyone. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor. The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had... I like the theory more than the story.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger?
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course. I meant no offense.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him. to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps. Have you tried it before?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. He won't be your knock, but he won't be thrilled about this either.
Here you go, man. Of course. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon, and I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emission. She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig. Truth be told, she was terrified.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you...
Of course. Sure thing. Sure, man.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Well? Great, thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit. Your body is ready, sire. There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is intact. A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But then you pull the lever all the way up and nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick... This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM? I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes. You mean this? This isn't good. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit, below.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough. We are both doing our best under the circumstances. Just don't drink tonight, please. We weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him, so that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We didn't talk to the White Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow. Above all, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Ravachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to be. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their occupant. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in the waterworks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use these. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Courant and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government and the moral intern. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So, or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Ravachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralington leases us the right to keep the peace in this city.
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract. The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it does. Do you? My kind of police officer.
The dying lights of the city shimmer. An aerostatic passes overhead. The whiskers of its floodlights.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the... It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our system... Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type. Yes, guess what's yours? Okay, just for the length of this short demonstration, please say something that isn't, I'm sorry. Guess. What is it? Yes, sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the advanced interesting cop, Liquid Shadow cop. But you're too sorry to say those things. So, here we go. What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual Copo type from sorry to anything. Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, that won't happen. window stands broken in its The bed is cold and not particularly inviting. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out, and then sleep doesn't come. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening. Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. Smells of alcohol and sweat and grease. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. A bit tense in the muscles. Relax. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep, and images start forming.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth? Oh no, funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. Or you just stood there. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed Elysium. Everything. The pale and the useless. On the surface, you really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion. No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. And the act is wearing thin, too. The spots, you'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time. Stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours. Bumping into things and acting like a clown. You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garb.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes to time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? It's power, man. It's professionalism. It makes you feel like you're young again and ready to detect, ready to go to war against the world. Of course, Martinez is speed central. You just gotta poke around, follow your nose. You and Speed will be happy again. You will make her come home. This time, it will be different. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. It belongs in the new, the third decade of the current century. Enough time had passed from the failure. Things were good. It was smooth sailing. People made gold and champagne-tinted interiors and facades for Revachol. Your city. That meant only one. If it doesn't rhyme, you're not pronouncing it right. Out of the dazzling swirl of disco music, in an open-air boîte de nuit, somewhere in Revachol West, Guillaume's blonde mane appeared on the screen. He sang some bullshit. Then he made the expression. The click is used to spur on a horse. It also features heavily in Guillaume Le Million's Sometimes you like to add finger pistols to the mix, because, unlike Guillaume Le Million, you are a police officer. It's your nifty little way to say, everyone loved it. Maybe you thought some of the stardust would rub off on you. Maybe it did. There is a vast ocean of time between right now and the expression, looking good on you, or anyone. 2 decades, if the calendar is to be trusted. You have some understanding of the near history of disco, plus the trivia you've picked up along the way. Episodic memory, however, remains in the dark. It doesn't have to be. You can swoon over Guillaume and his champagne-corked smile whenever you want to. Maybe some of the stardust will return. The door is closed. Still nothing. Still nothing. Still nothing.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the man. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. A lot of things point to the dock workers' union. That's not a lot of things. We should have dug up more yesterday. Still, I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head. One more.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms. But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you.
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear. Oh, please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems?
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and Gary. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. But you have more important things to worry about.
More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something.
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to...
The water lock? That was broken. Could this be it?
Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day. Oh my, what happened to the water lock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both of you. You've spared me another sleepless night.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband.
Yes, some left-field scientific research is exactly what you need right now.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the water lock's been repaired. And it's cold out there. Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, yes. A zoologist.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize...
That's one opinion, yes.
She's used to playing off such insults casually.
My apologies, ma'am.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. One specialized... Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless. And frankly,
the quality of research at Revacholian universities has been on the decline. But you doubt there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite.
Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's.
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband, you'll need more
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and...
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds. You know, we'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, but I shouldn't bore you.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but...
Ah yes, Phasmatodia, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves.
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here on the Insulindian coast. Hence it's named the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us, officers.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists.
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all. Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a... Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insulindian phasmid perfectly.
Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face. Her eyes sparkle behind her glasses.
I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the Insulindian phasmid. All scientists have their little hobby horses. Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even. Oh dear, I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very... Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
You're an enthusiastic idiot, but you're still an idiot.
We don't have time for Cryptozoology 101. Let's get back to work, shall we?
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. What are you, a cook now? That's none of your business. He wasn't pan-fried. He was lynched. What could the kitchen possibly have? Fine, okay. The kitchen is closed until 1 p.m. because the cook is working. You can snoop around after that. Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it. Losers. It's not strange, it's inconvenient. Who told you that? Fine, yeah, it looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but I don't know if it's at all related. If you do find out who cut the line, though, let me know, so I can forward them the repair bill. Yes?
man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly. Shrugging is an international sign for no.
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez.
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
No, I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does. That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong-arming. Nothing official. The District of Martinez does not...
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. What are we going to do to you? The union isn't going to do anything to you. It is not a crime syndicate. It is a...
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. But we digress. Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence.
So you were spying on us, and now you represent...
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all. And...
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Get sober. Do your job. Ask your questions and get the hell out of Martinez.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow. The vows are blood and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems? Yes, them, but also Women. Women, men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place. Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth. Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times. Okay, yes, let's call it that. That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You like the sound of that. You're going to keep your vooz, right? Keep your vooz, Brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
This is where you say your bid.
Detective.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell...
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
No. I's here. You got business with my boys. You got business with me.
He understood what you were doing, taking inventory of them.
Yeah! You fuck with the Hardy boys, you fuck with Titus Hardy!
Relax, Dennis. No one is fucking you yet.
Yeah, Dennis, calm down. No one's fucking you, you stupid fuck.
Let Dennis enjoy his fucking, man. We don't mind.
Yeah, you're not even being fucked, Dennis.
Easy, fellas. We got company. Let's see what brings the cop around.
Too late to stop you. You've already got them all, including the old bearded man who's smart enough to smoke instead of talking. As you can see, he doesn't speak a lot, and you almost missed him among the others. That's enough to take another look at those tracks in the yard. See if they fit this band of miscreants.
The pretty boy. You guys really...
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Well, maybe you
Don't worry. We are resourceful. We'll find a good topic for us to discuss.
Incriminating. Now that's a big boy word. Well, maybe you...
Don't worry. We are resourceful.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes.
Active decay.
He's about to blow! Cop's gonna blow, Kuno!
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Wow, still not doing it. You're bad at this.
Don't beat yourself down. Neither can I. We'll have another look later.
The dented yellow mailbox. The mail collection box has no faith in your psychopathic.
Hello? Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read. It is. I know you are. What with?
What with? A lot of things. For example, people tend to go missing.
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with...
Where is this going, officer?
Yes, but... I don't really need to know where my husband... No. Why are we still talking about this? I haven't lost...
It's got to be something else then. Why else would you be asking her if it wasn't?
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking, giving the ladder of vices a chance.
What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're with their friends. They're almost grown up now anyway. They're past the age they need me protecting them from everything now. My youngest girl, Jolie, is just shy of 16. Jenny, she is turning 18 next month. Why do you need to know this? Haven't I repeatedly told you that they're not missing? That they're in Shamrock, safe and well, at some stupid party? There is no investigation here. I can tell you that.
Okay, it must be asked then. What are you doing here? Why are you pursuing this?
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you...
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this point.
I don't even have a cockatoo.
It's a trap. Never ever say what.
Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The story is open.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time. The woman before you nods.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now.
Out of the rain and into the gutter.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there. Yes, just like the one Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look way more serious with that. Right, I have to get back to my homework now, before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that... Yes?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
But what else did you find? Did anything survive?
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until you found that entity of hers.
A book about cockatoos? There should be one upstairs, right next to the shelf of biographies.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and this large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. Ozon, Laurentide, Fas Alamir, archipelagos, North Arcade Eye disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you. You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vimandu, on archipelagos. 850 million people live on these little dots. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them make perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stel Hudon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it. Drawn from an isom. Still, it's detailed. This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide... Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named... These three things are very important to the point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice it serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have wholeness, unity, balance. On the other hand, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that the book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants. There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tournay. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called The Anti-Star. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a run-down drug den.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your... I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion... A very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell... The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universe... Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary.
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history.
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside. These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring-do. Crime fiction is a disgrace. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf? You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get Me Mullen. The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard. The Sordid... A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House. The Final Case of Dick Mullen. An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower. The Ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre. The Murder of Dick... Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also The Dame Who Did It. Tragedy Calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you. A sulphur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich. Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems. You don't have behavioral problems. That's garbage. You're cool.
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
You wait for the storekeeper to be distracted. When she's not looking, you haul the tome of cockatoos into your pocket. It's quite a challenge, but eventually, the guide to the cockatoos is yours. Splendid effort. A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, it is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform. Ouch. That must hurt. Not great for the neighbors. Performing? Yes, birdie. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. It must be glorious to behold, dark pink and snow white. Despite its banging name, the bang-bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoles forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly gray and white. The Seminoles name, bang-bang, is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins. Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you? You're right. You're the mediocrity embodied. This unsung bird belongs on your heraldry. Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, A small house, no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now. Whoa, What have we here? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
True, they never cleaned up the wall damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though. The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's...
Wow, so someone's been a little boring. Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown. Of course you do. Let's get right to it. My lord's copper type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax. Yes, the type of cop you are, sire. Think of it as a caste, a class even, a nation of regular law officials that you belong to. It comes good, of course, to outright declare yourself.
Trying to sneak up on me.
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing. Logic error.
Pig's come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out. Then why are you sneaking up on me like that? It's not a good idea to... Trying to sneak up on...
There must be another way into the building.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinaise. Weather-worn, cracked. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce L. Messier, I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. Beaton, my maiden name. Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel. There is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines Group. Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Technically, the neighboring Ozone and Fas a la Mer island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou, by contrast, is a single fertile landmass, the fourth largest island in the world. It is...
Okay, if you want to get technical, the point is we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another, especially when you're in a hurry to resolve a strike. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Ravachol industrial harbor.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Before you do, it would be pertinent to ask other questions. Gather more info on this boat of hers.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator?
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A? 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
Your synapses flesh.
Okay, it is anti-centennial. I assure you, they drove quite a hard bargain for this space, but you're right. I am a bourgeois woman, and this is my fast, lightweight, interminably bourgeois boat. The boat? No, it is called Cor de Lady. It's a pleasure craft, a 19-pacer. It also happens to be my sloop. I like it a lot. It's the eels.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Officer,
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license.
Good. What we do?
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy. oil and gas exploration.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king. Jean-Baptiste, Elium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. 20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving... They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Aliment.
The octopus that straddles Revachon, the Emergencies Act, is the cornerstone of post-war Revachon.
Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interest.
What the man means is that the Emergencies Act and...
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped...
Wait. She just admitted that the lynching and...
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist... What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part... Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's a subject for... Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I...
And when did you first...
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of... Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy. Personally, I don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board. It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines Group makes a decision about what? About anything, really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But... and now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rag...
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynch?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the...
Don't let her answer it herself.
If these strikebreakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo...
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's... Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers... The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under... Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it in...
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened... And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech, I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the...
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running...
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence. Holly, I don't... Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspect... The point of the presentation is, these kind...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. I do believe you, naive as that may sound.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the...
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, you. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too? This conversation isn't really about love. Try to keep up, okay? This is about the communism you've promised to build. Word on the street is, it's going to be You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets, literally murder all human beings, regardless. Funky style, very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Failure. It's about failure. Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. Absolutely vanquished. Be you alone. Against every living thing. Against every human alive. You against the atom, the charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of... Now get to work, comrade. Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelette without breaking a few million eggs.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all. No, if there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate.
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes, after they clear the terminal, we lose track.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? So...
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows... Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCN, no...
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west.
Well, at least this solved why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for... In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. This...
Yes, reality is your side case, an experimental side case.
Ah, yes. The episode.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol.
She nods slowly.
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 30 or 2. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate. Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful. These are unimportant times, Detective. For the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective, or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war...
We? She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oran. The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe, at least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provision. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
Rooty tooty, pointy shooty.
That's the way of history. Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in... Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well.
She likes the totality of it.
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes, the Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes, King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time. They are what they are. Who knows? Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality. A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop.
The girl in the old lady rags? Looks like a sullen and rebellious... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music... She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old... All right.
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
And what would that be? I can see that, yes. I dabble in those dark arts myself. Nothing infra about disco, baby. Those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, the new, the cultural era, and the name of the decade it ravished. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Wasn't it Guillaume le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there? Ah, yes. This is not very central. I can't be 100% sure, but I believe he died due to complications. All of them. I'm afraid no. But then again, one can't be entirely sure. Anyway, what other basic facets? Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? More lessons in basic reality. Glad to have been of assistance. Of course.
Indirect modes of taxation. Turns out those Financial Oversight Committee gangsters stuffed millions of hard-earned dividends away in the last place anyone thought to look. The hearts and minds of everyday Riversholians. You need to spread that deregulation gospel to the people. Tell them about that foreign fair tax. Preach that 98% gross burden. sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment. The door rattles against your knuckle. The door rattles again, but...
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside. Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for... Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door? There must be another entrance to the east.
Up here, Piggo.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece. A sturdy metal door guards...
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
There is no reply. Just the door rattles again, but...
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting it... Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom sweeping across the concrete floor.
Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. I won't be... Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door? There must be another entrance to the east.
Yeah, you better keep walking. The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue d'Espérance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite.
A brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism.
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
Have you ever tried your hand at graffiti-o? When faced with a blank wall, we rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cads. And my name's not Mona, so... This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration...
She means the opposite.
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in...
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
She turns her head to face the coast. Hatred, disgust, it's the woman.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world. Pig's not half as dumb as he looks. Watch your back, ungulate.
I have really outdone myself.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston.
René, Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day? Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. No, officers, I'm sorry. And I really...
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the ghost caviar in the Union.
He means caviar.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything.
Odd. He doesn't seem to be lying, but there's something.
Of course, officer. I hope I can help you. I'm sorry, officer, but I really don't share.
The only one you have.
The sandwich looks like a culinary wonder. In addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one, you notice a brim of a tomato peeking from below.
Believe me, officer, I wish I could help you, but I need this sandwich to keep my blood sugar stable. Fuck off! It's mine!
A glimmer of respect flashes in René's eyes.
Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a bad way.
And it's...
When the dissidents come to rape our country, he hides. But try to get a bite of his dear sandwich and he gets claws? You're a special kind of vermin, Gaston.
All right. This is how we're gonna do it.
Like what, officer? This is as good as they come.
An array of delicious recipes flashes through your mind. This calls for an engineering angle. Structural rigidity, exposed rafters, lattice works, that type of approach.
Mon Dieu, that is an excellent idea. That would virtually negate the component loss. Ce serait délicieux! Can you make that sandwich, officer? I hope you are not just tricking an old man out of the little he has left. Or god of sandwiches, maybe? But in the meanwhile, what can I do for you?
The purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul. If he's got principle. Ah, yes! King Philip.
Oh, absolutely.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that.
Don't get started on that again.
The Carabinier doesn't reply, but...
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much.
You can't even take the responsibility for your... That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine.
Of course. Clarity of vision.
Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court...
He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he?
From what I've seen of the officers of the RCM... Right. Yes. I was standing right here. I saw it. Why are you telling me this? No! I don't understand what you're trying to accomplish with all of this. Is very unprofessional. Makes me think the citizens' militia.
We're not. The officer was just...
You are representing an organization.
It's clear these words mean a lot to him.
Everything you do reflects on the idea and the people you are representing. When we think of the RCM, we think of you. Please make it a pleasant thought.
Yes, well, let's just wrap this up and try...
Fine. You live, learn, and move on. The matter is closed. Now what can this old Carib...
Volumetric ship compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit togetherness were thought to exist only at the center of...
Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative one? The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you?
The woman before... You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling in rags. This and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents.
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went. If
you are correct. This is a rather
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Eight pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Where else have we seen a gang of men in work boots? That's right, the hardy boys in the mess hall of whirling in rags. 1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46. Just like Titus was wearing in his booth. This is the big dick. Is it? They didn't even bother to change boots. Putting them on the scene is easy. 2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. Either the blonde muscular guy, Glenn. 3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. 4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46. Theo, the old smoker. You think you even see a tiny fleck of cigarette ash inside the print. 5. Another standard work boot. Reinforced toes. Number 44. Same as before. Either the musician, Eugene, or the muscle-bound blonde, Glenn. 6. Light as air. Same make of boot, but number 41. Small like a rat. Shanky. Better late than never, detective. The whole world is dark and the tracks burn in it with strange. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. The imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. 8. Another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole. The right sole is smoother, more worn. Curious. A missing 8th.
7 sets of tracks, right? The Hardy Boys were here. That's all? Interesting. Then one of them seems to be missing.
Note to self. This would be a good question to ask Titus. Where's the 8th man?
$200. This could be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built work.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Possibly, yeah.
But why?
Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or just march him up to the gallows. Even easier to carry on a stretcher, or between 2 men. Anyway, it's for future consideration. I'm guessing that's the skinny Hardy boy. The one with his front... Yes, well, he did look a bit like a rat, you're right. I could still be wrong, but I'm probably not. Interesting. Let's name it the Odd Soul. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the missing Hardy boy. Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer? A drummer only uses their right foot for the kick drum. You're right, it's stupid. Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
He doesn't seem to hear you. Looking south to...
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. A week, maybe?
It is not impossible.
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havashar. 7 days below freezing. The day before.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to... Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction.
Indeed. They all stood in a row.
So far, so good. Only one thing.
Of course, there were 8 tracks, but there are only 7 Hardy Boys.
Which one is missing, do you think? I'm going to say it was our old soul. Yes, I doubt the Hardys are going to tell us who this person is. For now, it's best if we just keep our eyes open. I'm sure our investigation will eventually lead us to the old soul.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse. Ha ha ha! Again, the corpse laughs at you, pus dripping from its... Every time it happens, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time. The lieutenant is clearly at a loss.
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it in...
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and spending a skill point to upgrade your endurance.
Maybe it's okay if you don't make it today. The dead man isn't going anywhere.
Fuck does Kuno care? Fucking right, pig. Kuno's filling bathtubs with that shit. Fuck no, pig. Kuno ain't dealing to the popo. Not doing the pork pen.
Belying the act, he's actually telling the truth. Or at least 0.00001% of it. He has a little speed.
You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. How? And then what? You fucking there? You...
He's trying to fuck at you again, Kuno!
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. Yeah, Kuno plays on snuff radio, fucks pigs, live, fucks their heads off. That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your eyes.
It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on...
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno! He's gonna use it against you, Kuno!
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't...
Fuck you, pig! Don't do mag! You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die!
Course you fucking can. How do you think Kuno made all the docky boys his gimps? Just gotta fly, pig. Not for you, pig. Kuno can't wait.
Kuno can't wait to see...
That's all there is to it then. Don't be a pansy.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Yeah, like a fucking volcano.
You're lucky you didn't die there.
Oh, what? You'll fucking vomit on Kuno too, pig?
What's going on? Is an ungovernable youth on your like you don't have enough on your plate. You feel a sudden surge of self-pity coming on.
Fuck no!
Kuno, they've...
Ease off, see? Kuno always...
He'd rather die than work with the justice system.
Kuno doesn't...
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the carbon barrier. Go to the apothecary and buy insane amounts of magnesium. It will reverse the damage to you.